Hi everybody, welcome back to the Limit Breakdown. I'm your host Migs.
And Sid.
And today we're back in the studio. As you can see, our friend here survived his adventure with
coronavirus.
But we are going to be discussing episode 3 of Obi-Wan Kenobi. It was just too good for us to pass up. So we'll jump right into it after the intro.
Welcome back, everybody. And today we're doing episode 3 of Obi-Wan Kenobi. So what did you think?
So Vader, savage, like it was everything that I had thought. Like I loved how both of them were their skills have obviously changed. Vader's has sharpened and Kenobi's has declined.
Yes.
And I love that. I love that even though Vader has clearly, like his force powers have clearly raised, I think it's notable to note that he couldn't sense Kenobi. Like
until he was closer.
Yeah. But the whole reason he came out and he was like force pulling people and choking people, he was trying to draw Kenobi out. So I it's often been said about how Vader's skills with the Force were diminished from when he was Anakin Skywalker. It's curious to know whether or not a fully formed Anakin would have been able to sense Kenobi from the rip.
Yeah, I definitely found that interesting. Vader, at least his skills were definitely more raw instead of doing a lot of the weird stuff that they did. It was definitely more raw. You could see he was more powerful. And honestly, it actually reminded me of Kylo Ren fighting.
Yeah.
Because if you see Kylo Ren fight, you see that because he just uses brute strength,
raw power,
raw power, and it kind of reminded me of that. And on the flip side, like you said, Kenobi himself was just beaten, and at first he was very, very hesitant to even draw the lightsaber. In the scene before where they come up to the outpost, he has the lightsaber, and he's like, "Nah."
It almost felt like he was like I don't know, maybe. Because you couldn't see it, but it almost felt like he was holding his saber and trembling almost.
Yeah, he just did not want to go back to the ways, did not want to go back to the Jedi, ways of his past. And then when he fought Vader, he was more reluctant to use the saber. You could tell he was just like, I don't want to do this. And
well, it was just, I think it was just instinct at that point. It was survival. And I thought Vader was very much like he could have killed him at any point in that battle. He was just like when he dragged him down and he lit the thing on fire, and then he force pulled him until
you were going to summon like I did. I was like, oh, that makes so much more sense now.
Oh god.
It was definitely a lot to take, and I think all Star Wars fans felt it at that point. The emotion that Vader felt, and then the emotion that Kenobi feels. It's just two conflicting ideas.
Dude, the one part of dialogue that got me was when Obi-Wan sees Vader for the first time and he's like, "What have you become?" And he's like, "What you made me." Vader just replies, "I am what you made me."
Yeah. It was definitely a very powerful episode. I think beyond that climactic scene, throughout the episode, you could also see Kenobi being more hesitant and more cautious as he goes about. So when they're in the desert area or whatever, not the desert, the plainlands, and he's like, "Oh well, somebody told me to come here for assistance, and I don't think anyone's gonna show up." He's very pessimistic, and then when he does approach somebody, he's very cautious. He's like, no, we just need directions. While Leia, being a child, obviously is more optimistic, like, oh, let's just do it our way. Let's just go out. And the people are nice. And you can see from the original movies of how optimistic and how friendly and approachable Obi-Wan was to now where he's just cautious and just like, I don't want to, deal with people. So
I think the amount of trauma too, because like, for Leia has lived a very privileged life. So, people in her experience generally tend to be, more well-meaning, whereas you go through the Jedi purge, like you learn to not trust a little bit. But I also liked how he never outright said it, but like he kept noticing little things about Leia that were reminded him of Padme.
Yeah, I didn't catch that until a little bit later, and then when the stormtroopers come, they're like, "Oh, sorry, I meant Leia. Leia was the mom, and you reminded me of." And then he looked at her, and you could tell, and I didn't catch it until Leia said it herself. She's like, "You knew my mother," and he's like, "Oh, yes, I did. Did you know my father? Are you my dad?"
That was so funny.
It would have been. I'm not gonna lie.
That
the first
so
thing that
funny.
went through my mind was Leia. I'm your father. But yeah, that scene was, and I think, in all honesty, Ian McGregor's facial acting is just so superb. You can tell Obi-Wan's emotions just by Ian McGregor's facial acting, and I think it is so superior at that point.
Yeah, no, he did a fantastic job. I think he's done a fantastic job overall. The build up to that scene where Vader finally came in was great. I was a little surprised that they jumped ahead and gave us that fight so early. I think there's going to be another one.
I think there's gonna be. I think this is gonna be more like Vader looking down on Obi-Wan, and Obi-Wan's like, "No, I can't do it." And I think later on in the series, there's going to be another fight where Obi-Wan is hopefully more optimistic, more like full of himself.
I also like the fact that they're showing you what kind of a toll the last 10 years has taken on Obi-Wan. Mm-hmm. I was afraid partially when the show got announced that it was going to be Clone War era Obi-Wan Kenobi with all of his skills and that's not who he is anymore. Like he said it himself, I'm not the Jedi that I used to be.
Yeah.
Even the fact that he had to struggle to save Leia in the last episode, to catch her with the Force, it shows you very much that it is a skill that needs to be honed. I've always thought it interesting as the Force is kind of like a muscle. Like the more Force potential you have doesn't necessarily mean that you're always going to be all powerful. You still have to train. You still have to hone that skill.
Yeah. Speaking of the Force, one of the greatest lines or questions actually was by Leia, and then she's like, what is the Force and what does it feel like? And in my mind, I was like, oh my God, this is the most mind-blowing question ever. Yeah. And I was like, are they going to answer that? I was hooked. I was looking at my screen. I was like, what is he going to say? And then his answer was, he's like, when you're afraid of the dark and you turn on the light and you're secure, or you feel safe, and that's what it feels like. And I was like, that is the most clever answer I could have thought of.
That was really good.
It was a really good line, really good answer, and I was like, that's really... I enjoyed it.
This is also kind of another thing that I really enjoyed, because now you have had Obi-Wan be the first to explain the Force to Leia, and he was also the Force to explain he was also the one to explain the Force to Luke.
Yeah.
So I thought that was really good.
Yeah.
Good.
I think they're gonna build a lot of relationship between Leia and Obi-Wan, because obviously first scene in Episode 4 is her knowing Obi-Wan helped me, so she clearly knows.
Yeah.
So I think there's gonna be a lot of trust building between them. I want to know how far they go in training her in the Force, and not because throughout the movies. Yes, they mentioned that she has the ability that Luke does, but she never got trained, and don't see anything until the sequel series where when Leia gets blown out into the sky, and she comes back and they're like, oh my god, she can use the Force.
Yeah.
So I want to know if they're kind of going to expand on that this time.
It would definitely be interesting. I mean, I wouldn't put it past them to, you know, do some things to not necessarily break the canon, but like maybe bend it a little bit, stretch it out a little bit.
Yeah.
That would be pretty cool. And once again, the little girl that played Leia was just
so far I'm not a very fan of child actors. I don't think a lot of child actors do a good job because they're children, you know.
Of course.
But she has actually done a very, very good job. She has nailed Carrie Fisher's Leia to the T.
Yeah, the sass, man. The sass is strong in that one.
So I want to switch gears and talk about the antagonist, the third sister,
Reva. Yeah.
Reva. So it seems very interesting to me that Vader, from my understanding, is Vader has set up this little Inquisitor Corps where there's the Grand Inquisitor who's the leader of them, and then, you know, the other people. And then Riva kills the Grand Inquisitor in the past season, or past episode, sorry. And then she immediately talks to Vader, right? Kind of like bypassing the other guy whose name I...
Fifth brother.
Fifth?
Yeah, his name is the fifth brother.
Shouldn't his...
Yeah. Well, that's why he said I'm next in line.
Shouldn't he be the first brother?
Yeah, well,
shouldn't he be the second brother? I don't know.
I mean, there's...
I don't know how math works in this galaxy, but...
I mean, again...
Or maybe the higher number you are, the higher rank you are.
I don't know.
First sister brother is like the lowest rank.
Yeah.
But it seemed interesting to me that I understand that she wants to go to Vader and be by his side, which I think she has a subplot in her mind. I think she has.
I would assume so.
But what I want to know is why would Vader entertain the idea of her taking over and not go down the line, right? Does he see something in her that he's like, okay, you can skip these ranks and maybe become Grand Inquisitor?
I don't know. I think it's a lot simpler than that. I think it's more as Vader sees them as so insignificant that so long as they're achieving whatever goal he sets out for them, he doesn't care. He cared very little about the fact that the Grand Inquisitor was dead.
He's like, I don't give a shit.
Yeah, basically, like he gave zero. He gave 0 Fs about the Grand Inquisitor, and so I don't think. And
so he doesn't. So what you're okay? So you're saying that it doesn't really matter.
Because whatever aspirations they may have, like, you know, maybe because I thought about something similar. Like I was like, what if maybe Reva's trying to get close to Vader so she can try to get a chance to kill Vader and then take his place at the Emperor's side or something along those lines, and, you know, really truly become a Sith. But even still, like, I think that Vader has made the assessment that ain't none of these chumps a threat to me. I can smack every one of them.
Yeah, he can wipe the floor with them.
Yeah.
So
he's really unconcerned with who, like, you can be Grand Inquisitor. I don't care. Kill each other.
It's just a title.
Yeah.
It's the title.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Fair. That makes more sense. That was my concern. I was like, why did he pick her? Maybe it was a deeper meaning, right? Maybe it was like, he knows something about her. She knows something, you know, that he's like, this one's gonna be it. But that makes a lot more sense as far as that goes. So
but like I said, overall the fight was, even though it was shorter than I mean, honestly, I didn't even anticipate them having a confrontation.
I did not. I thought he was gonna run away.
Yeah,
and that was gonna be it. I was halfway expecting Duel of Fates or. Another the song from episode 3, I can't remember, but that to be playing. I'm like,
they had quite a few callbacks to their different fights over the set of the series. There was a part, I think, where there was like a lot of steam and smoke, like where Obi-Wan was able to deflect the saber, and it reminded me kind of the one scene where Vader was fighting Luke. I mean, I could be reaching, but it's just kind of what I saw.
Yeah, it might be a little extra, but yeah, I can see it. I don't, at least for this fight, I don't think they were recreating anything. It was more just to show the power difference. And then the mentality.
Oh yeah, no, I mean
two,
to call it a fight is being overly generous.
He got served on a platter. Yeah, Vader was like, "Here you go, sir."
Yeah, no, had Vader not wanted to make him suffer, he could have ended him right then and there. Easily.
Vader going down the street and just killing people left and right. That was ridiculous. He goes, pulls a person out, and then goes, and just snaps their neck. I was like, "Yeah, did that just happen?" Oh man, that was ridiculous. But then I think so. That is when he felt Obi-Wan there, when he was pulling people out and Obi-Wan was watching, because Obi-Wan felt him first. He's like, I feel something. He drastically went, and he's like, I have to see, my Padawan, my brother in arms, and he sees Vader coming down. And I think that's when Vader noticed. He's like, I feel his presence, but I'm not 100% sure. So yeah.
Switching gears a little bit, did you notice they had kind of like an underground railroad system for Force sensitives over there on that planet with the one with the I don't know if she was a general or some type of
Tala?
Tala. Yeah, commander. But if you notice, there were like various hieroglyphs on the wall on the tunnels.
I couldn't understand that part.
I saw one that it obviously showed the Jedi symbol.
Yeah,
and there was some names. I've seen a couple of videos where they talked about a couple of names. I'm probably gonna butcher this name. I think it's Quinlan Voss. I think
that sounds familiar.
He was from the Clone Wars. He was a Jedi that kind of flirted with the dark side. He was a love interest of Asajj Ventress.
Oh, okay.
So that's the first time he's been mentioned in canon. So, or at least in live action. He was in the Clone Wars.
Because the Clone Wars are canon.
Yeah. So, and there supposedly like 2 or 3 other names that were etched on there that I didn't quite catch. But it's interesting that they're bringing more and more escaped Jedis into the fold, I suppose. So it's interesting to see how much of that is going to be brought out over the next couple of series that they're doing. And honestly, like, I'm really thoroughly impressed with how they're building the I guess new Star Wars expanded universe, because before, the expanded universe was, mostly books and stuff like that, and now with Disney doing all of these mini-series, like, it's really branching out. And the stuff with Ahsoka, the stuff with the Mandalorian, like, I'm really, really stoked.
Yeah, definitely. I can't wait for the series to end, because I want to know what direction they're going to take. I'm really looking forward to seeing Obi-Wan's transformation.
They already greenlit a season 2 apparently.
Really?
Yep. They confirmed that they're going to be doing a season 2. So they're going to
stretch this out.
Yeah.
Which I'm happy if it turns out good, but I'm sad because I don't want it to be too stretched out.
Yeah.
Just get on with it. Because I want to see how beaten down, broken Obi-Wan turns into the Ben Kenobi from Episode 4. Yeah. Because Ben Kenobi Episode 4 was a wise old man. He was still very optimistic, He was definitely forward, but he was very optimistic, So I want to see.
It's gonna be good to see the change. But overall, I'm excited for next week. So thanks everybody for catching our thoughts. We'll catch you guys next time. Hi everybody, thanks for watching our content. As we gear up to continue having our channel grow, we're nearing our 100th subscriber. We're doing a giveaway for this great Stan Lee collectible. We're very excited about this. If you want to be eligible to win this bad boy, need you to like, subscribe, and leave a comment under the video. That way we can choose the winner as soon as we get to that 100th subscriber. We're very excited for the upcoming content. We've got lots of movies that are coming out that we're going to review. We're very, very excited. Thanks, guys, for watching. Bye.
If you like our videos, please subscribe and hit the like button.